anti-Islamic, anti-immigration, anti-abortion. It's the Twitter feed has been banned in Germany. They've been involved in all sorts of scuffles and offences, and is widely condemned across all the aisles of British politics. Are you comfortable that you retweeted a video which may or may not be a real video by a group like that?
Well, sure, absolutely. I mean, there are two issues. One is, Twitter. Twitter is just as like watching things going by on a river and you're saying, here, look at this. Another one is when you are retweeting these things, oh, look at this. Are you doing investigation into the group? Moreover, Germany, and I don't think you, has a First Amendment, but being anti-abortion or anti-Islamic isn't a crime in this country. No, but and a video is a video.
I mean, Anne, sorry, if I could just interrupt, because you're saying it's just like watching things go by and then retweeting them and putting them out there. But also putting them out there often can be seen as condoning what you're looking at, whether you're saying, look at this, because you're then putting it out to more of your followers. And the video that you retweeted yourself... The video that you retweeted yourself, which was supposed to be of a Muslim migrant beating up somebody on crutches, was actually nothing of the sort. It was a Dutch national who was born and bred in the Netherlands. He wasn't a Muslim migrant at all.
No, he was the child of a Muslim migrant. And look, these are videos. It's not like I'm swearing to the veracity of these people, though I'm not as, horrified by someone who's anti-abortion or anti-Muslim
in your position of influence with all these people that listen to you, don't you think that you actually have a duty to make sure you can swear to the veracity of these people?
Well, what I was going to say is, look, if this were 1941 and someone produced a video of, from Germany of Jewish men with their bones sticking out, I wouldn't really care if one of them, oh, that's not really actually a Jew in a concentration camp, that's an Argentinian in something else. I mean, we're in the middle of a worldwide jihad. These are important videos of the ones that Trump tweeted. Yeah, they were all Muslims. And the big claim is, oh, but this one was born in the Netherlands. He's as Dutch as Van Gogh. No, come on. This is what the issue is. Britain has become with all of Western Europe, a cautionary tale, I think, for the United States. If you're just going to keep dumping these people from very different cultures, some of whom are part of this worldwide jihad, you're going to have big problems, and that's what was being pointed out in the videos.
So just to be clear, Anne, just to be clear, you are comfortable with these actions, and as you say, you have a right to, although I think it is quite extraordinary, you compare your retweeting of this video with highlighting, the situation of the Jews during the Second World War, but that's for you to make peace with. Let's talk about Donald Trump, because he is the president of the United States, and indeed has directly tweeted our Prime Minister, who wants to distance Britain from these actions, saying she should leave him alone and look to the problems in her country. Now, is it for him, he of all people who's been so critical of fake news, to be retweeting unverified videos which are at the very least inflammatory?
Well, you keep talking about these unverified. I don't know what you mean by verified. It's photos, and to just brush off, oh, comparing that, I'll make peace with comparing this to the Nazis.
Well, no, I tell you why it's unverified. I tell you what I mean by that. It's because you can film two people fighting, can't you? And it's a video of two people fighting.
Or does Theresa
just one second, because you challenged me about my questions. Let me explain. You can film two people fighting, and it's a video of two people fighting. You can then layer it, as Britain first does, with turning it into a political thing, that it's a Muslim attacking a white person who's presumably non-Muslim, and then it becomes a whole different thing. So yes, the video does stand, but what is surrounding it and what is being pushed out by this group means something very different.
I think we're really losing the plot here if you're not understanding what I'm saying, and very seriously and consistently comparing it to Nazi Germany and the threat of Nazi Germany. And oh boy, Theresa May is no Winston Churchill. I don't know if you guys still like him, but we love him over here, and I think we need to sound the alarm. What these are videos of are people who are maybe not migrants themselves, but the children of migrants. There are a lot spicier videos of tubes blowing up and you know, gang rapes and people being stabbed on the London Bridge and Paris and Brussels and New York and Orlando. I mean, it's just one incident after another. And to say that there's something offensive about showing what the truth is, and a news organization saying it's unverified, well, okay, verified. I mean, you make it sound as if this was all just a put-up job and it was two kids fooling around and creating a fake video.
What we can't verify, though, is the truth of those videos. Like you say, the videos can in many ways speak for themselves, but as Kate says, the origin of the videos and what originally started, as opposed to what's being pushed out by this far-right group that originally tweeted them and then other people, changes the context. That aside, though, if we can just talk about President Trump and the fact that he has directly criticised Theresa May, our Prime Minister. Where do you think this leaves our so-called special relationship? Do you think President Trump will still be welcome here in the UK because he's slated in to have a state visit shortly? Do you think he would still sort of be as welcome as perhaps he would have been before this whole incident?
Well, I don't think he's ever been welcome. Wasn't there a big petition to keep him out right after he was inaugurated? I mean, personally, I'd prefer that he'd stay in this country. His campaign was to put America first, and we need a lot of work. I'm getting a little tired of these foreign trips.
Taking aim at women in the White House this week, first attacking Sarah Huckabee Sanders, her Thanksgiving chocolate and pecan pie, demanding proof that she baked it.
It's called Piegate.
It was too pretty.
They're saying it was stock footage. Then a Vanity Fair article about the First Lady claims she never wanted to be in the White House to begin with.
Is the hostility just because they are conservative women? Here to weigh in is Fox News contributor Tommy Lahren. Tommy, thanks for being with us.
Of course, and to answer your question is absolutely because they're conservative women. There's no other explanation for it, really.
You don't really know what that's like to be attacked.
No, not me. Are you kidding, Brian? Everyone loves me. You know that.
Well, we do. But, I mean, you seem like you're always underneath some pressure. But in terms of the First Lady in particular, I've heard First Ladies before in the past, like Mrs. Obama when she was a candidate, when Barack Obama was a candidate, say, you know, she wasn't looking forward to going to the White House. But they did it in a nice way. When they went after Melania, they acted like she didn't even want to, you know, be married or like the country.
Well, they go after Melania for everything. They go after Sarah Huckabee Sanders for everything. They go after Kellyanne Conway and Ivanka Trump for everything. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If any of these women, and Hope Hicks is included in that list as well, if any of these women were on the left or campaigned for Hillary Clinton, they would be on the cover of every magazine in this country and around the world. They would be lauded as feminist icons. But because they're conservatives, they're not given the same credit. And they're also ridiculed and attacked for their pies, for their shoe choices at a hurricane site, for every single thing they do, from their looks to their intelligence, and it's sick.
Doesn't it go against everything that these women are preaching, though? They're preaching acceptance and tolerance for all, and women should make the same amount of money as men, but yet they're attacking these women who are big leaders in the White House just because they don't agree with them politically?
Well, this is the hypocritical left showing its true colors. Once again, they are the party of female empowerment, but it's selective female empowerment. It's female empowerment for those on the left. But if you're on the right, if you're a conservative, if you're even an independent, you don't get the same treatment, and you are not the icon in which they seek, because that is for a special group of women. So if we aren't in that category, I'm sorry, they don't like us. They're going to attack us for every little thing. Again, going after pies, I think that that's really telling.
That is something. An icon on the left is Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts. Of course, a couple of days ago, the President of the United States mentioned her moniker that he has given her, Pocahontas, when he was having a meeting in the Oval Room with some of the code talkers from World War II. And she said that it was a racial slur, and now she is fundraising off of what the president said, Tommy.
So basically what she's doing is using her phony Native American heritage once again to advance her career. So it's actually Elizabeth Warren, not Donald Trump, that is exploiting heritage, that is exploiting Native Americans, and she should be ashamed of herself. But again, the mainstream media will always turn this back on Donald Trump and the name that he's given her. But don't be mistaken. He gave her that name for a reason. He didn't just come up with that out of thin air. She did this to herself.
Right, because she apparently, it does appear, made up her family history to advance her career and get a big job at Harvard.
Oh, of course she did. And then afterwards, when questioned about it, she started telling stories about how her family had high cheekbones. I mean, if we're going to talk about exploiting Native American heritage, going back and telling stories and then trying to cover up for a lie that she apparently told, that's just sick, it's sad, and it's wrong. And now she's fundraising off of it. But guess what? If this is what the left has to offer in 2020, I really like our chances.
Meanwhile, let's talk about Liberty University. I've had a chance to speak there. It's a great experience. You're going to be speaking there with people like Ray Rice, former running back for the Ravens, Corey Lewandowski.
Oh, it's a worrying trend of negativity among women revealed in a new study that finds the average female criticizes herself at least 8 times a day. Why do you do that? Weight Watchers conducted the survey of 2,000 women and found the top 4 areas of criticism are, no surprise, weight, appearance, career, and finances. Now, experts blame social media and the obsession with selfies for making women feel bad about themselves. You are literally writing the book about the subject now. Do you think, is this an unfair spotlight that is focused on women, or do you think that women are more self-critical because of selfies?
I think selfies could be a part of it, but I just think women are very self-critical, period.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this excellent meme on Twitter yesterday that said, all of the women inside me are tired. And I think that's really true. I mean, I think there's a lot of power that women have gotten over the years, but there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. I mean, we have more choices than ever, but we're more stressed out than ever. So when I saw they criticize themselves, 8 times, I thought, put a 4 in front of that. More like 48 or 58.
I thought the number was low.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
did. Women can be especially difficult on each other, so it makes sense that we would start with the one that lives inside of us. You know, you play like you practice. So, I mean, just to see how women treat each other lets me know that they have to be hypercritical of themselves, because they've got to get good at that some kind of way.
I mean, the technology is one of the things that allows women access to beauty in ways that they never have. They never dreamed possible. It's very democratic in that way. But, you know, also you have not only physical engineering, but social media. Has it put unnecessary pressure on women?
I blame men.
No,
I'm joking. I'm joking. But men want the woman who works out twice a day, or at least looks like she does, and can eat the burger too.
So
right?
I talk a lot to high schools and junior highs, and one of the things I talk about is the idea of bullying. And one of the statements I make is I go, first off, you guys are all in the toughest time of your life. High school and junior highs are the worst in terms of self-image and getting to know yourself. But it's especially tough for women. I mean, there's so much image out there. I mean, if I look at my Twitter now, that people probably aren't criticizing my suit, but if you're a woman on TV, they're probably criticizing what you wear and trying to cut deep in that area. And so it's a very different standard, and one that I think the more women are aware of it, I think it's better for their self-image, speaking as a man.
Well, you and I are raising daughters. Yeah. So now there's a whole different layer, and you too. There's a different layer to this conversation for me as a mom. Like, it doesn't, the way I feel, I'm a grown-up, I can deflect, I can do what I need to do to stay whole. But then to grow a new generation dealing with the criticism and the self-criticism, so on and so forth, is a real challenge, you know, and teaching my daughters how to have healthy, positive self-talk. You know, when the world beats you up.
Can I get a briefing on that healthy, positive self-talk?
Well, absolutely. In our home, and I don't know how it is with you, but I never, ever talk about weight or looking fat. It's all about, you know, when my daughters ask me, how do I look? I'm like, how do you feel? That's the most important thing. Yeah. How do you feel? And, you know, we talk a lot about strength and being physical and how that is one of the best attributes that you can have.
Stamina.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we rarely talk, and maybe I sound, you know, like an authoritarian, but I think it's really important for young women. I grew up with brothers, and they were ruthless. I mean, they were relentless. So trying to create a positive environment, I think, is really wonderful. God, why did I say that?